Welcome back, everybody, to the MLE Sunday Showdown as we've got our final match of the evening. We're looking at shifting gears a little bit here towards the Champion League as I've got my new caster, Terminator, here to help out on those duties. Terminator, how do you see this one playing out?
It's going to be a great game. Both teams are over 500, really competing to get in the playoffs. The Comets, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Champions League. So it's going to be a really good battle. I think we see a 3-2 series.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Obviously, the Comets a very dangerous team. It's going to be the job of the Pandas probably to bring the pace of the game to them because if they let the Comets dictate the pace, I just feel like a team that's that dominant is probably going to run away with this, and it could easily be 4-1, 5-0 if the numbers are any indication as well.
Absolutely right. Speaking of winner, we have a winner for our Power A Spectre Enhanced Controller. And that winner is the Void RL. So congratulations, the Void RL. You have won a nice new controller.
Yeah, much congratulations to the Void RL, and thanks to our sponsor Power A for happily contributing that. And we're always grateful for the support from those companies. And with that, we're going to let these players join in and we're going to get into game number one here between the Champion League Pandas and the Comets. And what will be a very fantastic matchup here. We are just about getting into the opening kickoff. We've got the Legend and Zeta on the side of the Comets and Unforgiven and Zach on the side of the Pandas. Here we go for game number one with the kickoff here. As the ball going in the side of Legend, he gets a nice follow-up touch there and going to have control. Passing to Zach, but a little bit too squarely on net there. Zach, or Zeta, sorry, not Zach. My mistake. Looking for a little bit of control. Heading back towards the Comets end of the zone. Zach, who is the Pandas player, closes that one out and starts us off here in this series.
Good job just getting to that ball first, putting it into a wide open net. That's a quick start for the Pandas, exactly what they were looking for.
And as I get my Z names straight here, we've got Zeta and Zach facing off in the kickoff here with Pandas getting a little bit of control. Now sending it into the left side corner here, just waiting for their time to get a pass out in the mid, but Legend is going to take it back the other way. Tries to get it past one, but Zach sends it back into the Comets zone and looks for a center, misses the touch. Unforgiven looking for a rebound, but he can't get it. Zach with another chance and threads the needle on the left side of the net.
Great teamwork, just pushing the ball up the field. Constant shooting, that's what you need. And Zach just getting it to go off the near post. Perfect shot. Quick 2-0 lead for the Pandas.
Fantastic early pressure here from what was kind of the weaker team on paper, but it doesn't seem to be panning out that way so far as the Pandas again with control off kickoff, but a missed touch there is going to give the Comets some daylight here. Unforgiven trying to flick it around, but the Comets centering here, looking for a goal, and Legend is going to find the angle and bring it within one.
Legend is a very good player. He's in the top 16 in MVPR in the league, and he's showing why right there. Legend scoring a one to get one back very soon after.
3 goals now with not even a minute played. It might be looking like a high scoring series here if this is any indication. We pick up back on the action as challenge there close to the Panda's net heads off towards the right side with Zeta circling on the wall. Now Legend sends it opposite side to the left corner. Zach heading up the wall to try and clear, but Legend gets to it first. Panda's player gets it out of the zone for the time being. Zeta looking for a center, but can't get it off of the wall there. And Unforgiven's got a chance back the other way. He gets it around one and down, but a way early pre-jump there from Zach on the part of the Pandas. That might have been an opportunity squandered to go up 3-1.
Absolutely. They're still getting chances right now, but looks like Legend. No, he will not clear it. The Pandas are doing a great job of keeping the ball on the Comets' defensive side of the field.
Absolutely, as we see yet another chance from here. Unforgiven with a bouncer shot that goes opposite side, and it's going to be 3-1.
The teamwork is just unbelievable. Both players on the Pandas just constantly pushing the ball up the field, getting balls across the middle, and that's what you need. The Pandas are playing great right now.
Playing great, and the Comets on their part looking a little bit out of sorts on defenses. They're tight to the ball and tightly bundled together instead of generating space. They might get stuck here again, but Zeta with a nice clear keeps it out for the time being. punches it down that left side, unforgiven. Looking for an air dribble with minimal boost. Gets it over and gets a bump on the defending player. Now, can he center for his teammate? No, there was a nice defensive play there to keep it out of shooting position. Zeta sends it towards the right side wall there. Still pressure from the Pandas here as the Comets can hardly get it out of their half. As the Pandas, Zach keeping it back in. He'll look for another touch here and a shot on net. And that's a runner the other way with so much open space and a 4-1 lead.
Again, just constant pressure. The Comets finally got the ball out of their own half, but Zach is there to push it right back up. No one back for the Comets. I don't know where the defense is, but the offense for the Pandas is clearly playing well.
4-1 now with a little bit over half the game left to play. And the Comets have got to put some major work in here to get themselves composed, get some attacking chances here. They look for one, doesn't quite make it across the goal mouth as Unforgiven clears, sends it back into the attacking zone. But Zeta is wary to go for a shot on that one. He turns, tries to get a play on it. Not enough power to make it dangerous as Zach's going to circle in the right corner. Try to play it slow, but couldn't quite do it. Comets player coming in for a shot there. That might have been an overcommit. If Zach can wrangle it here and put it on net, he can. And again, the Pandas score and make it 5-1 now.
The shot total right now, a little more than halfway through the game, 8-2 for the Pandas. Just the offensive pressure is so unreal, and the Pandas are catching the Comets every time they come up the field.
Seems as though they almost have a ability to convert every chance they get here. And Comets can't convert on that chance, goes off the post, and that could have been a big momentum swing. Squandered instead for them. Now the Legend trying to punch it out towards the net, but it's a little bit wide. Zach controlling it in the corner, taking his time to get boost. He's going to look for a dribble play into the middle. Gets it past one, but not two. That's a high ball lofting off of the ceiling. Can Legend get the touch? It fakes the Pandas defender, but Zach is there to bail him out. Zach now looking for control along the left side wall. He's got it past one. Trying to center. It gets punched out by Legend and out of danger for now. Unforgiven back into that same corner. Comets players cycling well to keep it out of shooting position. Bit of a scramble play here and some physical play from the Pandas player. And with a minute and a half left and a 4-goal deficit to make up, the Comets just don't have enough pressure.
Yeah, the Comets, they're not getting shots. Right there, they had a chance. Good block by the Pandas defense, but they're just not getting enough shots, not keeping the ball in the Pandas offense, in the Pandas defensive side of the field, and it's costing them.
As we now approach the minute mark in this game, number one, Legend can't get control of it on the wall. That's going to be a shooting opportunity, but missed off the post. Legend trying again to clear it, but again can't get it out of the zone. Zach circling for maybe another shot. That's off the top right corner. This is third attempt now for the Comets to get it out of the zone. They still can't. Unforgiven puts a low shot this time. It's just an absolute bombardment from the Pandas.
Correct. They have 10 more shots than the Comets. This Pandas offense is for real, and if they keep this up, I don't see how they lose any game.
Pandas now just trying to burn the clock. Maybe obviously they don't need to put their foot too much on the pedal as Zach here opts for the slow play to try and burn out the time. Punches it towards the left-hand side on a challenge as Legend looks to try to sort of salvage any type of offensive opportunity here at the end of the game. 15 seconds left. Pandas player punching it out. A double tap opportunity here for Legend, but can't get around it. But Zeta is there to get the shot on net. But an overcommit is going to lead to a 6-1 margin here. Oh, Comets player almost saving them, but not quite.
And with 6 seconds left, we may see a Brazil. I always love seeing a Brazil, so that's what I'm going to pay attention to. This game's over.
I'll tell you, there's a couple of players right now that do not love seeing in Brazil, and those Comets are really going to need to rethink their strategy going into game number 2 here. As the final seconds wind down and that ball touches, that's a blowout for the Pandas in game 1 and a major statement.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about how the Comets, they're tied for second in the league in record, but the Pandas, they're in a tough division, a division that beats themselves up. Everyone in their division, the Tropic, is over 500. It's a really good division, and you would feel that if they were in one where maybe there was a little less parity, they would have a better record than they currently do. So they're still a very good team.
Yeah, that's a very shrewd point to make for sure, is that the competition between divisions can sometimes not reflect team levels all that well because, like you said, the Pandas are up against some serious walls. in their division, whereas the Comets, with that much bigger spread, they may not have faced the level of competition that they're facing now with the Pandas, but this has definitely been a wake up call after game one.
Yeah, the Pandas are used to this kind of competition and they're playing like it. They look like they've been here before. They know how to handle the pressure, and they absolutely did in game number one. Not that they faced much because their defense was on point. If the Pandas keep playing like this, I don't see them dropping many games this series, but it's a long series to play and lots of time, lots of goals to be had. We'll just have to see what happens.
And obviously, something to be said for the sort of jitters getting out of game one and getting into that kind of warmed up state where you start to feel the pace of play a little bit more. Maybe we'll see a bit of a resurgence here from the Comets. But now we head into game number two with the opening kickoff. Pandas, after having made a statement, are looking already to add more offense to their overall series tally. But Zeta's going to send it back down the other way. And Zach gets caught in the corner on an awkward play, but a great touch there from Unforgiven. And now Zach's got a runner that he should be able to clean up. Again, the Pandas score first, and it's just a continuation of that momentum.
Yeah, I think the key to this game was the Comets not getting down early. If they could play well, get their rotation set, but that's not the start they wanted. The Pandas up early again. You're right, it's a continuation.
And I think, like you say, it's going to be an early game contest here. If the Comets can't equalize this game in the next 30, maybe 45 seconds, it might look as though the Pandas can just continue to chip away at closing this series out, as we've got a crazy high pinch going in front of the net. Comets now with a great chance, and exactly as I said it, they've now equalized in that time frame where they can get the momentum back on their side.
Zeta's 29th goal of the season. This is a very good offensive team. All the players on the Comets, all four, are in the top 16 in MVP. They are a very solid team, and when they get going, they are dangerous.
Pandas now are going to have to be wary of the heating up, but the defense still pretty cold on the side of the Comets. That's an opportunity that they should have saved.
Absolutely right. Kickoff goals are always such a huge blow to momentum. It kind of felt like the Comets finally got some back, but that's gone in an instant. 2-1 lead.
Now we're inside still the first minute of play with 3 goals scored. It continues to be a high scoring affair, but the Comets are going to hope that score comes their way a little bit here. Pandas have control once again in the Comets zone with Zach popping it past one. Can't get it past two. Unforgiven has a shooting opportunity here, but he's slow to it. Legend, beating him in speed, is going to run back the other way and tie the game at 4 minutes.
Very offensive game so far. 4 goals in the first minute of the game. You would feel like it's going to slow down, but both these teams are on fire right now.
On fire, and really you can see it already in the stat lines for the two teams. One of them is being carried by Zach. He's got both of the goals, and Unforgiven is going to make me eat my words there as he adds a goal to the tally before I can even finish.
Another instance of the caster curse, but a great shot, great air dribble, just getting the little touch on it and putting it inside the near post. That's just perfection. The Pandas lead once again.
Comets now looking for once again an answer to what the Pandas have offensively, as they need to pick up this 1 goal lead. Zach with the control along the right side. Punches it high and looks for a dunk, but gets beaten there by Legend, who's going to look for a follow-up touch, but backflips. Unforgiven then given some space to work with here. Zeta peeling back is going to be slow to it. That's off the crossbar. Legend with a combination demo and clear. But a retaliation from Zach means that there's going to be an absence of players on the field for a moment here as everyone spawns back in. Unforgiven looks for the center to Zach, who dives at the shot but misses. This is heading back down towards the Pandas' end with them both retreating on defense. Unforgiven just be able to make it there in time. Zeta now with a little bit of control in the corner trying to center it. Legend pops it off backboard, demos the player in net, but Zeta's not there to pick up the slack. The Comets are getting close here, but it's just not enough aggressiveness from them.
Yeah, and they're still not getting shots on target. That's the key thing there. And no one back for the Comets. That's a Pandas goal.
That looks like a huge defensive misread. You're going to see the Comets player Zeta there just get absolutely stuck like a deer in headlights. Didn't know which way to go. And Zach made the right play there with a direct line at net to make this 4-2 now with a little under 3 minutes left to play. As we see Comet and Panda squaring off there, Zeta winning the kickoff, but Unforgiven taking control of the ball. Gets a weak touch there, but a great dunk is going to keep it in the attacking area and floating above the net. Zeta makes a nice clear to keep it out of shooting position. Zach with a challenge of his own. That's going to float back in front of the net again, but Legend pushing it to the side. Now for a third attempt here, the Pandas player Unforgiven misses on the wall. Zeta with a light touch puts it out of harm's way and now controlling it in midfield. Ball floating high back to Legend on defense, who punches it to the opposite side and opens up a little bit of space. Zeta pushes it towards the right-hand corner. He's going to look to read the bounce out of the corner, but can't. And now 2 minutes left to play and a 2-goal margin. The Pandas continuing the momentum they had in the first game and looking to close it out.
Yeah, they look like they wanted to close it out there, but even though the Comets' offense has been a lot better this game, the Pandas are still controlling play. 9 shots to 3. Just absolutely unreal offense from the Pandas, but the defense there wasn't unreal. Legend scores.
Yeah, it looks like a momentary lapse here from Unforgiven. He just got caught in the wrong spot, and Zach not quick enough to react to how that play unfolded. Legend will be happy to seal that one, as now it's a 1-goal margin. We head into kickoff here between these Champ League teams. Pretty close and still lots of time left to play, so the Pandas are going to have to be careful here, try to maintain the lead that they have. Zeta trying to make the best of that clear. Gets a nice pop into the corner. He's got a little bit of boost left to work with and grabs the corner there. He's going to hand it off to Legend, who puts it on net. And the Pandas player went on a little boost vacation there and got caught out.
The Comets doing a great job to come back from 2 down. That's showing their clutch gene. They finally got their offense seems to be going now. They're getting some shots, and when they get shots, they can score at will.
Absolutely, and it almost goes without saying, you don't win 21 games in a season so far without learning a thing or two about resilience and comebacks. So it's not surprising here to see the Comets answer, but Zach trying to answer on his own right. That's a lot of space given for Unforgiven to shoot, but too slow to it. Legend rather makes a great play to come back. Tries to center it here for Zeta. They're going to look for a pinch play maybe, but not quite getting it. Legend now demoed before he could make a read off of that backboard touch. Zach with a dribble opportunity, one-on-one. A nice flick over top, narrowly gets it past Legend, and that's a 5-4 lead for the Pandas with a minute left to play.
I'm very impressed with how Zach dribbles the ball. He's been doing it all this series, and right there, just a great jump over the defender. The Pandas lead once again. The Comets, every time they seem to get back in it, just can't get that little extra momentum over the hump.
Now the Pandas once again looking for more attacking play. Zeta trying to answer by getting the ball out of the zone, and Zach retreating a little bit here on defense. An awkward bounce off of the wall there, and an even more awkward touch. It's floating high above the right side of the goal here. They can't seem to get it in, and still they couldn't get that low shot on net that they needed. A Comets player demoed is going to mean a huge amount of open space, and just like that, the Pandas turned it into another goal.
The Pandas offense, again, they come up clutch, scoring 2 goals so quickly to really take the air out of the ball for the Comets. You hate to see it, but great job by the Pandas. They seem to be scoring at will this series.
They do, and it also feels as though they might be dictating the bulk of the physical play, as you saw demos come into play there. Legend popping it high for Zeta as we join back with 20 seconds left to play in a 2-goal margin. Zach looking for anything that he can find to get it upfield and maybe get a goal here to try and equalize, but it's really dwindling away here as we see the Pandas demo the Comets again. 10 seconds left, the ball floating in midfield. 2 goals to make up. That's going to be too much for these Comets players as we see the final clock wind down to 0 seconds. That's going to be it. Maybe a flashy ceiling shot here. The Comets trying to stop the bleeding. And that's going to drop. Pandas win game 2 after what seemed maybe as a possibility for the Comets. Again, Pandas just regain control.
This Pandas offense has been crazy, doubling the amount of shots the Comets have, 14-7. Yes, the Comets made 7 saves, but that's not enough when you give up 14 shots. You can't give up 14 shots and expect to win a game.
Absolutely. I mean, and it really comes to show that defense not just about purely making saves. Obviously, this was a hugely high scoring game, but it's the defense that needs to come from the Comets needs to come from the corners and from the midfield, because what we see from the Pandas is just this unrelenting pressure and repeated shot after shot after shot. Where as a goaltender, there's only so much you can do after a certain point with that sustained pressure. You really need to pressure farther forward on the field if you're the Comets.
Absolutely. Every time Zach gets that ball dribbling, it's dangerous. You have to be able to pressure him quickly. And if you could do that, you could really stop a lot of the counterattacks that the Pandas put on because they get down the field quickly and put the ball on net.
And seemingly the Pandas able to strike from just about anywhere. They have Zach, who's very adept at these dribbling plays. Unforgiven's made some fantastic passes, and they've had great shooting as well. So it's coming at the Comets from every angle here. And I think that really it's going to come down to the Comets finding sort of more examples of the flashes of brilliance that we saw there, but in a more consistent manner. And that's what it might take for them to even get a game out of this series at this point.
Absolutely. Well, game three, here's a chance for the Comets to get one back, is underway.
As we see now, opening play in the Pandas end of the field. As Comets out of boost, there is Zeta, so he's going to have to retreat accidentally, I think, getting a touch on the ball, and it's going to make some trouble here for Legend. And that's going to prove to be too much as Legend misses the defensive touch, and Pandas open the scoring once again.
All three games we've seen quick goals from the Pandas, and this one, no different. Pandas score very fast within 20 seconds, and it's tough. It's tough to give up a goal that quickly and keep your confidence.
And when confidence already probably running a little bit on reserve here for the Comets, certainly they need to find to generate some source of that. Zeta looking for an aerial play, Legend going for a bump onto Zach, and Unforgiven grabbing control of the ball. Gets the boost taken from him, so we'll see what he can do here with only 2 boost. It's a decent center, but a great touch off of the wall there from Comets player to keep it out of the shooting position. Legend now banging it off the back wall, trying to find the rebound, but couldn't quite read it as Zeta retreats on defense into the corner. He drops it down and looks for a challenge that he wins off to the right-hand side, maybe a follow-up here as well. Leaves it instead for Legend, who puts it on net, grabs the corner boost, tries to fight here, but gets beaten by Unforgiven. Unforgiven now punching it off of the high wall into a dangerous spot, but the Comets a little bit more collected maybe here on defense as we head into this third game.
Yeah, they went a little too far up there on that play, and that may be an opportunity for the Pandas. Great clear by Legend, and now the Comets, they'll have an offensive chance.
And it's really offense where we need to see them pick up the pace here, as they have been woefully out-aggressed and outscored by the Pandas. Pandas looking to add another goal here, but Unforgiven doesn't have the resources to make it happen. Zeta now with a punch off of the wall, but gets punched instead by the Pandas player. Legend can't get a nice power on that shot, so Zach is going to control it in the left side corner here. He waits for the challenge from Zeta, which is a strong one that's going to float out into the middle. Legend patiently waiting for the ball to bounce out to him and passes to Zeta, who centers it. Legend is up and looking for a shot, but it's a weak touch. Zeta picks up the ball for himself, but Unforgiven easily able to handle that, and now he pushes it back down the other end of the field. We're approaching the halfway mark of the game here. It's only a 1-goal margin, but again worrisome for the Comets. They're spending a lot of time in their end, and just as I say that, the trouble gets worse for them.
Yes, the Pandas score again. Great ball off the back wall by Zach, and Unforgiven recognizing where that ball was going to be, reading it quickly, and putting it right into an empty net. Pandas double their lead.
And Comets continuing to be near silent on offense. Really nothing coming from them just yet. Legend here trying to make some noise as he pops it into the corner. Unforgiven sending it up high into the air. Just absolutely dominates the player on defense, but a fantastic save from Zeta. Holy smokes, man. He really had to rush back, and that was an amazing play.
And the little physical play there from Zach in order to get the goalkeeper not where he wanted to be. Look at this. Just a little bit of a bump, and that sets up Unforgiven for the goal. But great save before by Zeta to even keep that ball alive for a little more time.
Absolutely. Zeta kind of learning the easy way and then the hard way that it's very small margins in this game. He made a tight save and then was barely bumped off of the ball, which resulted in a goal. As we see now, the Pandas up 3-0 in what is very much same song and dance to what we saw in games 1 and 2. Pandas putting another effort on net, but saved by the Comets. 2 minutes left to play here in a 3-0 lead. Pandas trying to add to that, but punched to the side by Legend. That ball floating dangerously in front of the net, but Zeta is going to have time and space to play it away. Unforgiven circling around to try and get some height on this as he passes it to his teammate Zach. Zach slow on it, but drops it down to Unforgiven, who's going to look to control it downward. Zach follows up with the final touch, and that's a great give and go off the wall from the Pandas. That's a
That's
great, clean goal.
that's just perfect team play, passing back and forth, a little drop to each other. You love that. That is what Rocket League is about. That's what you expect to see at the champ level. And we got it right here. This Pandas team is for real.
I mean, at this point, I half expect the Comets barely to get a touch on the ball. It just seems like it's a complete control game as we see another ball go in. Zach on a textbook dribble play, characteristic of him again.
That's 3 straight games the Pandas have scored 5 goals or more. This is an amazing offensive team, and we're really seeing them come together right now.
5-0 and a minute and 30 left to play. The Comets just absolutely reeling and without answers for this Pandas offensive onslaught. Legend can't control the ball off of the ceiling, so he pops it back to Zeta, who chips it high into the right-hand corner. Can't play it off of the wall. There is Zach, who gets it then popped over, but it's too far out to shoot, and Legend opts to play it slowly. He tries a low shot that's close, but Unforgiven is there. Legend now trying to muscle Unforgiven off of the ball, but unsuccessful in that. Floats into the midfield, and Zeta puts a decently powerful shot, but not enough to challenge the defender there. Now it's floating back again into the center zone. Minute left to play here. It's a 5-goal margin, and I don't think I've ever seen a comeback like that in under a minute of play.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot, and now it would have to be even more. Unforgiven scoring that would make 3 straight games with 6 goals for the Pandas. That it's over. I don't see the Comets getting back in this series or even getting a game.
Well, we can certainly hope they might be able to gather themselves in some way to salvage the series. But as far as the game goes, you're right that this is pretty much all she wrote. As the Pandas put another one on net, the Comets still struggling to get out of their half. Pass opportunity is thwarted there by Zach. Now Zeta looking for a touch off of the wall, maybe a centering pass here. He gets it, and Zach is backwards. Legend just not aggressive enough to capitalize on that. And now we see Pandas punch it out along the right side wall with 20 seconds left. Unforgiven demos Zeta in the back end, but Legend is there to rotate through. He's getting muscled off of the ball as well by the Pandas players, who are playing intensely physical, and I think that might be getting to the Comets players as well.
Oh, it definitely is, and you can see the Comets players are just trying to get up and make something happen. But every time they do, the Pandas make them pay. And Zach with a little bit of showboating there, just hitting it with the back of his car.
Understandable, I suppose, at this juncture with the Pandas up by so many goals and having done so repeatedly, they're riding high on confidence as Zach punches it off the sidewall. I'm imagining that the Comets don't want to keep this up any longer than they have to. That's going to be now 3-0, a series win overall for the Pandas, and just continuing to make statements.
Yeah, this Pandas team is very good. I mentioned before that their division is one of, if not the toughest in Champion League. They came in 2 games behind the leader and tied with 2 other teams. Every game they get from here on out is a huge swing when the end of the season comes and we look at the playoff picture.
Absolutely. As it comes at this moment in the season for them and how competitive their division is, this is as devastating as it's going to be for the Comets to potentially get swept in this series. It's far more crucial for the Pandas to get these wins because it's going to really open up some space for them in their division, and this could prove to be the difference maker in perhaps a playoff run for the Pandas when we get down to the tail end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what happens this series, even if the Comets get 0-5, uh, they're still going to be in first place in their division. They still control their own destiny throughout the rest of the season. The Pandas, they need these games, and if they can sweep a team as good as the Comets, that is a huge boost for them.
Absolutely, and really shows no signs of slowing down here. The Pandas just pummeling the offensive zone and sending shots consistently in all areas of the net. And Comets, again, here as we head into game number 4, are now going to have to try and totally reset and rethink their strategy. As Zeta in the defensive end, as he has been so often in this game, punches a high ball that Zach tries to shoot but can't. Now Legend making a bit of a slow play, and Zeta's going to try to control this. He gets just enough boost to be able to get there in time. That floats into the middle, but Zach is prowling to control it. Double commit there from the Pandas is not going to get punished, as Legend just tries to keep it out of harm's way for the time being. Zach up on the corner, maybe looking for a Doomsday dish, but couldn't get the flip that he wanted. Legend now back the other way, is trying to get it into the attacking zone, but Unforgiven sends it back the other way. Now Unforgiven waiting patiently for his opportunity to attack here, just making the Comets players sweat in defense there. And it's really a confidence show for the Pandas, knowing how much control they've had over this series.
Absolutely, and just a great pass there, not even going toward goal, just a little bit of a back pass, hand it off, get a shot on. This Pandas team is doing everything so well. The chemistry between these two players is just amazing.
And we see Legend with a poor touch out there. That's going to be punished immediately by Zach. The Pandas go up 1-0 once again, and it's like a broken record at this point.
Zach, just a good little shot. Unfortunately, Legend just did not have any boost to go for that ball, and it's cost him. Pandas won nothing.
3:45 remaining now in this fourth game of the series, with Pandas up 3-0 overall. Unforgiven punching it into the middle there, but can't quite get the pass out to his teammate. Now Legend with a tiny bit of space, goes slowly instead and gets a nice shot, but not nice enough. The Pandas player able to meet that. Now Zeta is going to be caught out a little bit on defense here. Zach with a fantastic punch inside to get it around the defender, and another nice dribble goal from him.
Zach, after getting bumped on his own half of the field, a great recovery to land on his wheels. That's why he was able to get to that ball, get the shot off, and get the goal. Zach is playing amazing right now. I really like this kid.
Yeah, he just seems to always have the control he needs to dictate the pace of play on the ground, and that's a dangerous thing in doubles where players so often have space to do so. Legend with a poor touch is going to be answered with an awkward save off the crossbar by Zeta. Now Legend back the other way, might be able to start things, but can't quite. Zeta with a chance to shoot. That's a nice high shot, gets rebuffed by Unforgiven away. Now another offensive chance here. This is the first sustained pressure we might see from the Comets as they keep it in the attacking zone. That one's on net and needs to be saved as well. Unforgiven now circling back for boost, gives an open shot opportunity for Legend, who puts it high. Now a final rebound, and finally Zeta can punch it home after some great pressure from the Comets, finally.
That was one of the best sustained pressure we have seen from the Comets this whole series, and they got it to go. The more shots you get, the more the defense scrambles. They need that to happen more if they want to be able to score on this Pandas team.
Yeah, scrambling is something that definitely they want the Pandas to be doing. The Pandas never really looking like they've felt uncomfortable thus far, and the Comets are going to look to make them feel just that way going forward here. Comets now with a counterattack shot that Zach barely able to touch away as he grabs boost and goes up the side wall looking for a slow controlling play. Might have an extra flip there, but opts not to use it. That drops down in front of the net and goes under both Comets players, who double commit. And I would say that's going to be a goal for sure for Unforgiven.
Unforgiven, just a little great dribble, just so calm and composed in front of goal. Took his time to get that on target. Pandas lead by 2.
2 goals up, 2 minutes and 14 seconds left to play as we sit looking once again at the Pandas leading this game, now looking to go for skill plays here as the confidence continues to grow. Legend looking for a touch but can't quite find it, barely gets a tire on it. 2 more whiffs from the players there, leaves the ball in the back corner with Zach. A hard pinch off of the corner is going to give a shooting opportunity, but met by Legend. Zeta now pushes it forward. Legend might be a little bit too far away. He can't get a touch on it. Zach now looking to go back the other way, but can't. Unforgiven. Waiting, and just perfect timing on defense there. It's just, there are no holes here in the defense that the Comets can find.
Yeah, they had a chance right there if Legend was up for it, but he was not. Instead, it's going to be the Pandas counterattacking, and this counterattack is so dangerous. Every time they get the ball, you really hold your breath.
And that's just been too many times, I think, too many counter-attacking opportunities for the Pandas, with the Comets overcommitting on their offensive opportunities. Now a chance here as a ball floats out in front of net and Legend threads the needle on the bottom right side there to get 3-2.
This game isn't over yet. With over a minute to go, they get it back within one. The Comets, they're playing better defensively, they're getting shots, and you feel like they may have a bit of confidence that they can get this goal back.
Well, they've got a minute left to show whether that might be the case, as Unforgiven takes his time, understandably, on the wall there. Zeta beats him on the challenge and looks for a center, but a little bit of an awkward flip off the wall. He gets a bump onto Zach in a little bit of space, but it's just too close to him to make an apt play there. Legend 50-50 it off the sidewall. Unforgiven's going to have to touch that. Legend leaves it for Zeta, and the bit of confusion there on defense doesn't get punished for the time being. Legend now off of the sidewall. Zach's going to leave that one for Unforgiven, who chips it up. Might look for a ceiling shot here. Couldn't get the mechanics rolling at the right time. Now Zeta looking for maybe a dunk. Could have done better there as Legend looks to pick up the slack and get a shot on net, but can't. Now Zeta banging off the back wall again. This is that pressure we want to see, but Zach shutting the valve down, sending it back downfield. 15 seconds left and a goal to score here for the Comets. This is looking pretty dire.
Yes, it is. Still, they have a chance. We've seen counterattacks for the Pandas. Maybe we could see one for the Comets.
This is their last chance here as time dwindles down. This is in the corner. Still a chance to keep it up as Legend might have a shot here. He's over top of the ball, tries to get underneath it, but doesn't have the boost to do what he wants. And now that is a 4-0 series score for the Pandas.
This Pandas team's looking good. We saw them under pressure there for the first time, and they held strong. The defense looked very good, made 7 saves, and this is the Pandas team we want to see, and the Comets team we want to see too. Because they finally played well, but even then, the Pandas held on.
And you have to wonder, the most disheartening part of this for the Comets has to be that even when they do seem to crack through the midfield wall of the Pandas and get some offensive chances going, they're met by a really strong defense where you'd think they're just an offensive powerhouse that falls apart in the back. Instead, they're playing a complete game that the Comets just really can't get around.
Yeah, this Pandas team is playing great all around. The one thing I want to point out, the Pandas do have a better combined salary out there. I believe it's 28.5 to 27.5. But I feel like the one salary difference was going to make this much of a difference on the series. This Pandas team is just playing great, even if it is against lesser competition.
Yeah, and I think obviously the numbers sometimes can tell you a story, but other times it really comes down to who's just performing in the moment. And I would say both of the Pandas players, but in particular Zach, are really just feeling the confidence that they need in this series at the right time against a team that otherwise has been so dominant this season. So as we head into game 5 and the Comets look to maybe salvage some kind of score here, I think, uh, regardless of the result, the Pandas are going to be super happy with this showing heading into the second half of the season.
Absolutely. They still want this final game, though, that's for sure. If they don't get this final game, they're going to feel like they left something on the table just because of the way the series has gone so far. But if you would have told them beforehand that they would have a 4-1 series win, I'm sure they would have been thrilled.
Absolutely. And Unforgiven with a little bit of space here might punish some defensive floundering on the part of the Comets, and he does so pretty easily.
Yeah, just a little mistake there from Legend. I think try to fake him out, but Unforgiven, perfect shot, upper 90, and getting it to go. Another early Pandas lead.
And another mountain to climb here for the Comets as they push it into the offensive zone here. Zeta missing the touch to keep it in that zone. Legend now in the back corner opts to wait, misses the challenge there, but Zach does his work for him of clearing it out of the field. Legend now with zero boost looks to challenge the ball there, but it's beaten by the Comets player. Zeta now looking for a center of his own and bounces it off of the ceiling. The follow-up pinch not quite there. And now the Pandas sending it back the other way. Perhaps now Unforgiven clearing with minimal boost here. He's going to need to find some somewhere to keep this attack going. Opts to retreat instead, just barely missing the side boost there. Now Legend popping it over top of Unforgiven and pushing it into the middle. But Zach there to keep the pressure on for the time being. Unforgiven tries a shot, but it's wide. Maybe a counterattack opportunity for Zeta here, but it's just too rushed there. And too rushed in general, I think, on the attack for Comets. They need to be a little bit more patient and strike when it's the time to do so.
Yeah, you're right. They seem to really be forcing stuff, and they just gotta let the game come naturally. Get some shots on, get that defense out of position, and make it count. We saw that last game. If they could do it again in this game, they have a good chance.
Now 3 minutes left to play. 1-0 for the Pandas is a very realistic comeback. Hopefully the Comets can keep the scoreline at 1-0 and equalize it before it gets out of hand. Zeta pushing it onto the side, but gets beaten by Unforgiven. A big miss there is going to open up all the time in the world, and Zach is going to punish and make it 2-0.
Who else but Zach scoring a goal? He seems to be doing it all series long, and just a great play, good pass into the middle, and it does not get any easier than that.
Absolutely. You'd be hard-pressed to miss a shot like that, and Zach capitalizes on the space and continues the Pandas' momentum in this fifth game. Now Comets now trying to answer with a shot off of the crossbar. Zeta tries to get there first, but can't beat Zach to the ball. Legend now looking for a shot, but gets sent away by the Pandas defender there. Zeta retreating on defense. Looks to cut off the rotation in the midfield and push it forward. But Unforgiven is there to send it high and off of the back wall here. That might bounce center for Unforgiven, who pops it off of the crossbar. A rebound, but not controllable. That's a great defensive scramble from Legend to keep it out of there. Now it's popping into the middle of the field. Zach putting another tester towards the Comets' net. Always looking for more opportunities to score are the Pandas, but this is an awkward team bump for them. Legend with a chance. He goes low instead of high with a great fake. That's an individual play that's really going to help the confidence of the Comets here.
I want to see this again. Just a great play from Legend. I thought he was going to hit that again, but a little fake. That's just a beautiful play right there from Legend. And if you thought that was good, be sure to use MLEPOTW on Twitter and nominate that for Play of the Week.
Comets, obviously, the POTW hashtag not getting suggested, I don't think, too many times for them in this series. It's going to be the Pandas who are going to be fiending for that one. But they're looking to pick up the slack here now. With a 1-goal margin, this is a big opportunity here. The Pandas player just gets absolutely sent into the corner, and Zeta's going to have all the time in the world to tie the game.
We talked a lot about counterattacks, and a little bump right there from Zeta really opened that up. Zach was not able to recover, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this game is tied.
Rare to see these teams equal in this series, but the Comets, maybe they can scrounge something together here for themselves and get a game out of this. 2-2 with a minute and a half left to play. And a little bit seemingly of confidence for the Comets here as they get into the attacking zone once again. Zeta circles back and leaves it for Legend, who's going to try for an aerial play here above the net. Can't quite get to it. He's going to collect the offensive boost and head back as Zeta cycles in for his own play and is sent back by Unforgiven. Unforgiven low on boost, trying to keep it forward. And now Legend looking to put a shot on net, sends it into the corner instead. Zeta with a big amount of space to shoot, but sends it right down the pipes. And now we've got a minute left, and Comets again with some pressure. This is possibly a chance them to take this game here.
Yeah, they're really starting to get going. It's starting to look like an even series once again, starting with last game and now this game. And the Comets are looking good. This is the Comets team that we saw the first couple weeks of the season.
Obviously, they'll be kicking themselves, wondering why they couldn't have generated this sort of play earlier in the series, but good not to dwell on it for too long as they focus on the game at hand. With 30 seconds left, we've got a tie game. Comets popping it high in front of the net. This is a big chance. Pushed away by Zach. That was a great defensive play by him. Now the Legend back the other way in a very awkward situation. He's opting for the slow play, which works out for one. Looking to get past two, still playing it slowly. Now it's up on the side wall with Zeta cycling back. This is down to the last 10 seconds. Either team looking for any daylight here to maybe get a goal. Closes out in regulation. Oh, Comets with a high shot there on the right hand corner, but we're still going to go to overtime as it stays very close.
I love some extra Rocket League, and we got some here. Does the sweep happen, or do the Comets avoid it? You gotta love the tense overtime in order to decide that.
And I think even though having dominated the series, the Pandas still need to be focused here as this can get away from them in a hurry with a team that's as skilled as the Comets. Legend popping it off the side wall and looking for more control, but he's too slow to it as Unforgiven punches it downfield. Zeta with a booming shot off of the bottom of the side wall. He's going to get a rebound on this. That's heading towards center. Legend looks for the shot but can't get it. And now, again, we might see the Comets get burned on a counterattack, an overcommit, and that is going to close out game number 5. The Pandas secure a 5-0 sweep, just like we saw in our previous match in Academy League.
Pandas played great. We see them coming up clutch when it matters. They get the win. Great series played by them and the Comets. They really came alive at the end, but it was just not enough.
Yeah, as I said, we were kind of mid series. There were certainly flashes of brilliance from the Comets and moments here and there, but it was few and far between. Where on the other side of the field, the Pandas just at every turn showed skill both on defense, on offense, midfield pressure. It was a complete game from them, and obviously it shows in the score lines, especially in those early ones in the series.
Yeah, they played really well. The Comets again finally came alive. They outshot the Pandas in the last game. That's the first time they did that all series. And they tied in shots in game 4. You saw that team come together, but maybe they just didn't have enough pre-game warm up or what, but they just did not have it in the beginning.
And as we shift now to look at the standings and where these two teams may have ended up, with the 5-0 sweep, the Comets are going to obviously stay at 21 wins, but move up to 14 losses, still leading their division by a handy margin, I might add. But the Pandas, as we mentioned earlier, that's a big move for them to make. They move up to 21 and 14 in their division, which puts them, as it stands right now, ahead of the Sharks, although there may be some results still left to find there. But this is major moving and shaking happening for the Pandas in the standings in what is a very competitive division for them.
Yeah, now these two teams are tied in record, which I don't think anyone saw coming before this series. And that's just huge that they can finally be back. They'll probably be top 2 in their division, if not number 1, and you love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I love a good tight race for the playoffs.
Absolutely. And speaking of things we love to see, we've got two here to bring up. And so, first, we just want to say again, over the course of the night, we had mentions of Balls Guarana with the play of the week and Power A with the giveaway of the Spectre Enhanced Controller. Both of those sponsors were very grateful to have with MLE, and their continued support means a ton to the league. And the other final thing, something I think that a lot of people have been waiting with bated breath to see, we've actually got a logo reveal. It's been a long time coming for the MLE, waiting for these new logos to appear. And we've got this little surprise waiting for you at the end of the stream with some new logos to look at. So as we close out Sunday Showdown for MLE, we're going to drop that little gift on you at the end here and wish everybody a good night on behalf of myself and Terminator.